prospect of fresh festivity redoubled the hilarity of the guests to such a degree that the elder Dante, who, at the commencement of the repast, had commented upon the silence that prevailed, now found it difficult, amid the general din of voices, to obtain a moment's tranquillity in which to drink to the health and prosperity of the bride and bridegroom. Dante, perceiving the affectionate eagerness of his father, responded by a look of grateful pleasure, while Mercédès glanced at the clock and made an expressive gesture to Edmond. Around the table reigned the noisy hilarity which usually prevails at such a time among people sufficiently free from the demands of social position not to feel the trammels of etiquette. Such as the commencement of the repast had not been able to seat themselves according to their inclination, rose unceremoniously, and sought out more agreeable companions. Everybody talked at once, without waiting for a reply, and each one seemed to be contented with expressing his or her own thoughts. Fernand's paleness appeared to have communicated itself to Danglars. As for Fernand himself, he seemed to be enduring the tortures of the damned. Unable to rest, he was among the first to quit the table, and, as though seeking to avoid the hilarious mirth that rose in such deafening sounds, he continued, in utter silence, to pace the farther end of the salon. Caderousse approached him just as Danglars, whom Fernand seemed most anxious to avoid, had joined him in a corner of the room. I was recently asked how I break up these passages, and honestly, it's not graceful, as evidenced by today's episode. Basically, I just took the Gutenberg version that you can find online for free, put it into my e-reader app, and adjusted the font size until the page count was roughly around 1,460, which is the number of days in 4 years. And so I've just been reading that page per day. The reason it's often longer or shorter is because sometimes there's pictures. If you go and look at the Gutenberg version, you'll be able to see some of the artist renderings of these scenes, which either allows for more text or takes up space that text would otherwise be occupying. But I say this to give context to stuff like today, where we started on laughter, and I have no memory. I can't remember what they were laughing about from yesterday. I think it was mostly Dante making non-jokes, just kind of like acknowledging the ridiculousness of their situation. Yeah. Anyhow, this all seems very dangerous. Yes, the deadly trio is back on their shit, but more specifically, this line. Around the table reigned that noisy hilarity which usually prevails at a time among people sufficiently free from the demands of social position not to feel the trammels of etiquette. Someone here is going to get into trouble, and I don't mean the trouble that we're tracking through the plot of this book. I mean, like, you're at an office party and suddenly all your inhibitions are gone because you've had a few drinks, you're imbibing, and, you don't feel the social constraints, the professional constraints that you do throughout your day, and you happen to say something to your boss, maybe. Or you're speaking to, board members are coming, or, the executive team is coming over, and they're gonna mix amongst the people, and, that etiquette's gone. And you think, we're all in agreement here. We're in a place where none of this stuff should reflect on our professional lives. But, one little sarcastic joke and suddenly you're seen in a whole new light that you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So I think someone amongst this crew, can you just imagine someone on the ship's crew saying something accidentally to Morel that kind of undermines the confidence in Dante or Danglars even. Someone's going to get someone into trouble without intending to. But yeah, that just kind of makes me a little nervous. Those situations always make me just a little bit nervous. Also, how much did you relate to the point where in that same passage, it went on to say, yeah, when everything was getting started, everyone just kind of took a seat without regard of who they were sitting next to, and once everyone was free to get up and move around, they went and found the people they actually wanted to talk to, not the people that they found themselves sitting next to. I can't tell you how many parties I've been to where there's been like forced mingling, and then the second that those constraints go away, you're like, oh yeah, there's my people. I'm just gonna go back to what's comfortable to me. Anyway, I am way off topic today. Let's get back on topic tomorrow when we continue with the Count of Monte Cristo. I've been Landon Solano. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.